For my lesson plan project, I decided to do explorers and Native Americans. For this project, I did inquiry groups and then had my students create their project based off of the research they had done during the inquiry groups. Standards. The standards I focused on were describe examples of cooperation and conflict between European explorers and Native American Indians, read and comprehend informational texts, engage effectively in a range of collaborative discussions, and make sure that students understand the fundamental concepts of technology operations. Objectives. Students will be able to describe European exploration in North America, describe examples of cooperation and conflict, answer questions related to a nonfiction text, collect facts related to a nonfiction topic, and recall details from print and digital resources. Prior to beginning this unit, I did a review with my students using Nearpod on the Native American cultural regions. As my introduction to this unit, I once again used Nearpod and displayed the Nearpod on the board to introduce explorers and Native American relations. In order to differentiate this project, I made sure that almost all the websites had audio features. I did small group read-alouds, and I variated the projects based on student needs. For inquiry groups, I made a packet that every student received, and the inquiry groups were used in a small group setting where students rotated throughout the stations every day to finish one page per day in their packet. All of the pages focused on cooperation and conflict between different European explorers and Native American tribes, and also included a section on the Trail of Tears and bullying. My students received this checklist to check off as they were working through their packets. They used the research websites Britannica, PebbleGo, and PebbleGo Next to collect their information. They also used Seesaw at the end of every day to post a fun fact that they learned during their inquiry groups to our class journal. Finally, I had my own conferring notes that I used to make sure that all students were on task and to make sure that I knew what they were working on and how far along in their projects they were. For project assessment, the students got to choose a choice board. They had a choice of 6 options and could create what they chose or what they felt like would suit their learning style best. They could use Boomwriter, Canva, Piktochart to make their projects off of the choice board. I also created this rubric so that students would know what I'm looking for in their final projects. Finally, at the end of this unit, all students were given a student feedback survey so that I could get their recommendations and thoughts on how they thought the unit went. Lastly, for recommendations, I would recommend to include more days of practice with using research, breaking up the rotations so they're not as monotonous, and having more student laptops.